time of year for extension professionals. Time to complete our portfolios and our new plans of work for 2014 and 15. There's a book, The Oz Principle, by Roger Connors, Tom Smith, and Craig Hickman. The Oz Principle addresses how to be more personally accountable. One of the catchphrases of the book is about working above the line. To assist you in working above the line, here is a short lesson on developing better program objectives. Let's learn about the ABCDs of SMART objectives. This webinar should take 20 minutes. Hello, I'm Becky White. I'm a specialist in organization development and evaluation. My role is to assist extension professionals in program planning, implementation, and evaluation. I also help colleagues in developing grant proposals to enhance their extension programs. If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to know when you get there? Yogi Berra. You may have heard this quote by Yogi Berra, a famous baseball player and manager. In our extension world, we must plan our programs to be effective and accountable. Part of that program planning process is to develop broad mission and vision statements, as well as program goals and objectives. Each year, we complete a portfolio in the spring. In the fifth and final section of your individual portfolio, you must complete your next year's goals and objectives. This mini-lesson focuses on developing better program objectives for your portfolio. Before focusing on writing better objectives, let's briefly review a few foundation steps for effective extension program planning. As you can see in this illustration, we should have broad mission and vision statements for our outreach areas like agriculture, family and consumer sciences, and 4-H. We also should have established a variety of program goals and outcomes for our work that are somewhat broad and are not very measurable. Then we have program objectives that are more specific, that could be instructed to be measurable. All of these program planning components give us direction to guide us in our program planning efforts. So how are goals and objectives different? Let's review definitions of goals and objectives. A goal is an overarching principle that guides decision making. Objectives are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely steps that can be taken to meet the goal. To write a SMART objective, you should think specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. As you are developing your plan of work for the upcoming year, you should write your objectives, keeping in mind the SMART method. This is a small personal professional step toward working above the line and being more accountable as an extension professional. As you think about your upcoming year of program objectives, ask yourself these questions. Is it specific? What exactly will you accomplish? Is it measurable? How will you know when you have reached this objective? Is it achievable? Is achieving this objective realistic with effort and commitment? Is it relevant? Why is this objective significant to the program? Is it timely? When will you achieve this objective? Another tip in writing SMART objectives is to always use active verbs. There are many active verbs to choose from, but not all mesh well with our extension outreach methods. Here you see a few active verbs that I think are appropriate for our unique extension outreach methods, and also consider our logic model framework for program planning. Generally, in our extension program planning and evaluation designs, we evaluate the effectiveness of our program by measuring changes in participant learning and actions. Some active verbs to use when measuring short-term outcomes include change, complete, demonstrate, increase, identify, list, name, recognize, and specify. If you're going after medium-term outcomes, try using active verbs like adopt, apply, complete, demonstrate, establish, initiate, produce, show, and use. There are some active verbs to avoid when writing your SMART goals. They include to know, to understand, to enjoy, to appreciate, to grasp, to comprehend, and to believe. Because these active verbs are abstract rather than concrete, these particular active verbs are very hard to measure and should not be used. Another way to strengthen your SMART objectives is to write them using the ABCD components. Your SMART objective should include mention of an audience, behavior, conditions, and degree. So when developing your SMART objectives, think of these ABCD components. The audience, your program participants. The behavior, any expected learning or behavior changes or results. Condition, this includes circumstances that will lead to a change or a result, and when the change or result is expected to occur. Also consider degree. Be sure to include how much change occurs, which typically in our scenario are percentages for how many participants, which is a number. I have a format to help you in writing SMART objectives. If you notice, I've color-coded the format to ensure that all the ABCDs are included in the objective. So the format is when change will occur, plus circumstances that lead to change, plus who or what will be impacted, plus how much change occurs, plus what learning or behavior will change. So as you can see, who or what will be impacted is in purple. That represents your audience. What learning or behavior will change is red, or the behavior that we expect. For the condition, in green you'll find when the change will occur and circumstances that lead to change. And then to the degree is how much change occurs. Let's review some examples of SMART objectives. Objectives that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, using the ABCD technique in my suggested format. For background, I've included what you might select within our Dynamics planning and reporting system for an initiative area of extension work. So let's take the extension initiative area of horticulture. Within our Dynamics system, we have preset program outcomes built into the system. I view our preset dynamic outcome choices as roughly equivalent to program goals. This is because they're rather broad statements and not written in the SMART format. The outcome or goal I selected for this example is participants adopt recommended practices for environmental sustainability. The content area within our dynamic system that would be selected is volunteer development or horticulture home gardens. So in developing this objective, I considered the SMART system of objectives, I considered the ABCD method of developing SMART objectives, and I used the format that I previously shared. Let's review what I developed. In 2014-15, of 20 gardeners participating in the XYZ Parish Master Gardener Training Program, 85% will achieve the Certified Master Gardener designation by mastering the Master Gardener curriculum and providing 30 hours in volunteer service to the local extension service. If you notice, I've color-coded the objective to highlight the inclusion of ABCD components suggested for improved SMART objectives. To check behind myself, I would ask myself these questions. Is it SMART? Well, yes, I think so. I think it's measurable and specific, attainable, relevant, and timely. I would also ask, does it include the ABCD components? Yes, it includes an audience, behavior, condition, and degree. And then I would ask myself, is it written in the format provided for SMART objectives? When the change will occur? So yes, 2014-15. Circumstances that lead to change. Those participating in the XYZ Parish Master Gardener Training Program. Next, who or what will be impacted? That's gardeners. Next, how much change occurs? 85% of 20. And then finally, what learning or behavior will change? They will achieve the Certified Master Gardener designation by mastering the Master Gardener curriculum and providing 30 hours in volunteer service. Let's look at another example. So let's say I wanted to develop program objectives in the area of water quality, as it is related to agriculture, specifically crops. So I went into the dynamic system and I selected the initiative area of environment and natural resources. The outcome or goal I selected is participants adopt recommended practices for environmental sustainability. The content area selected is environment, water management, quality. Let's review what I developed. In 2014 and 15, of 40 farmers participating in XYZ Parish Crop Production Program, 50% will adopt 3 or more recommended best management practices concerning nutrient management. In checking behind myself, I ask, is it SMART? Yes, I think it is. It's measurable and specific. It's attainable. It's relevant and timely. Does it include those ABCD components? On audience, yes, farmers. Behavior, yes, they're going to adopt practices. Condition, yes, it's in a certain time frame, 2014-15, and it is condition those that are participating in XYZ Parish Crop Production Program. Is there a degree mentioned? Yes, 50% of 40 farmers. And then the final question I would ask, is it written in the correct format? And so yes, it has the year first, reporting year or the time frame. It has how much change will occur. It's got 50% of 40. It also has circumstances that lead to the change, including participating in the XYZ Parish Crop Production Program. And it also has what learning or behavior will change, this adoption of 3 or more recommended best management practices. Let's look at another example. Here's an example of a SMART objective in the area of human nutrition and food for adults. The outcome or goal I selected for this example would be participants adopt recommended practices for healthy living. The content area selected is healthy living, food and nutrition dietary guidelines. So the SMART objective is, in 2014-15, of 40 participants completing all 8 of the Let's Eat for the Health of It sessions, 80% will adopt 3 of 5 recommended health practices. To check behind myself, I would ask, is it SMART? Is it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely? Yes, it is. Does it include ABCD components? Yes, it does. It has audience, behavior, condition, and degree. Finally, is it written in the correct format? So yes, it has when the change will occur, the circumstances that lead to the change, who or what will be impacted. It has how much change will occur, and it has what learning or behavior will change. Let's look at another example. This is also an example with initiative area of human nutrition and food for adults. The outcome or goal is participants adopt recommended practices for healthy living. The content area changes, healthy living, physical health and fitness. So here's the SMART objective in 2014-15 of 40 adults participating in the XYZ Parish Let's Eat for the Health of It and America on the Move program. 60% will find a walking partner and or form a family walking group and walk routinely 2 to 3 times per week for 6 weeks. To check behind myself, is it SMART? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely? Yes, it meets those criteria. Does it include the ABCD components? Audience, behavior, condition, and degree? Yes, it does. And is it written in the format provided for SMART objectives? And yes, it does. Here's another example. Let's move to the initiative area of youth development. The outcome or goal selected was youth are actively engaged in learning and gain mastery. The content area was SET, Science, Engineering, and Technology, Other. The objective I developed is, in 2014-15, of 80 youth completing all 5 lessons of the Youth Wetlands Education SET program, 70% will increase their awareness, increase their knowledge, and change their attitude about wetlands by 25% from pre to post-test. Here's another one in youth development. The outcome, youth are actively engaged in learning and gain mastery. The content area could be 3 different things. It could be SET, Other, or Citizenship, or Leadership. So here's the objective I developed. In 2014-15, of 80 youth SET participants of the Youth Wetlands Education Program, 70% will participate in a wetlands service project, and 50% will share knowledge with others. So checking behind myself, I asked, is it SMART? Is it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely? And yes, it is. Does it include all 4 ABCD components? Yes, it includes audience, behavior, condition, and degree. And then, is it written in the format provided for SMART objectives? And yes, it was. I've developed a SMART objectives worksheet that you can use to help you improve your objectives. As you can see, there's an area for you to write the initiative area, the outcome, and the content area from our dynamic system. And then below that is the format with the items needed for a SMART objective. So the first thing you need to identify is the condition. Our first part of the condition would be time frame. So in our case, for the next upcoming program planning year, it would be in 2014-15. Plus, you need to add to that the circumstances leading to the change. So it may be youth participating in a certain program, or farmers participating in a certain program, or adults participating in a certain program. The next thing you could fill in on this worksheet would be who or what will be impacted. Then you would add how much change occurs, and this always involves a percent and number. Plus, add what learning or behavior you expect to change. And then write your objective in a completed format. For your convenience, I've also listed the examples that I developed in this webinar. That way you can refer to these if you need some ideas. So, here's a few examples of where I've gone in and completed the worksheet with the examples I've given you formerly. I filled in the dynamics information. The first one, environment and natural resources. Participants adopt recommended practices for environmental sustainability, and the content area is water management quality. The first part of condition is in 2014 and 15. The next part, participating in the XYZ Parish Crop Production Program. The next part would be farmers. The next piece would be 50% of 40. And the next piece would be will adopt 3 or more recommended best management practices concerning nutrient management. Then I put it all together. In 2014-15, of 40 farmers participating in the XYZ Parish Crop Production Program, 50% will adopt 3 or more recommended best management practices concerning nutrient management. Here's the next example using nutrition. In the top section, we filled out the dynamics information about nutrition, and then I completed the different sections of the format needed. In 2014 and 15 was a condition. Another condition, participating in the XYZ Parish Let's Eat for the Health of It America on the Move program. Next were adults. Next was how much change occurs. Well, I arrived upon 60% of 40 adults. And the next item was what learning or behavior will change. And I put, will find a walking partner and or form a walking group and walk routinely 2 to 3 times per week for 6 weeks. And then I completed it in the bottom section. Here's another one with the example of youth development. So in the top portion, I completed the dynamics information. Then I completed the bottom section. I put the year. I put the circumstances leading to the change. I put who or what will be impacted. I put how much change will occur. And then I put what learning or behavior would change. So the completed SMART objective was in 2014-15 of 80 youth completing all 5 lessons of the Youth Wetlands Education SET program. 70% will increase their awareness, increase their knowledge, and change their attitude about wetlands by 25% from pre to post test. In summary, write your objectives using the SMART technique. Are they specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely? Also consider the ABCDs of SMART objectives: the audience, the behavior, the conditions, and the degree. And finally, use the suggested format for ease in writing your objectives. Thanks for participating in this online training to help you complete Section 5 of your portfolio with SMART objectives. If you need additional assistance, please email me at bwhite@agcenter.lsu.edu or call me at the numbers listed on the screen. Have a great day.